B.L.A.C.K, Poetic G. Beautiful love always carries knowledge. Pay attention.
I'm King George. I'm the owner of T.Y.I Productions. I'm the curator of Black 31 magazine. I am here with a special brother from the community. This brother is one of the prolific book authors from the city. One of the most prolific book authors. I mean, this brother has written so many novels, and one of them that we always remember. We always remember that Fly Girl novel, right? Fly Girl. So, without further ado, can we please introduce and give it up for the brother Omar Tyree? Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's go.
yeah. Thanks for having
Legendary,
me on,
man.
man. I got my Eagles Kelly Green on for the game tomorrow out in Los Angeles. I was there last year too when we beat the L.A. Rams. We had more green jerseys in there than blue and gold, so that was cool out there in L.A.
I hear that,
Yeah.
man. I hear that. That's cool, man. That's cool. Most importantly, right? Let the people know, who is Omar Tyree.
I'm a West Philadelphia native. Grew up in the bottom of West Philly, 38th and Aspen, around the corner from the zoo. And then I moved to Mount Airy at 9. So I did half of my years in West Philly, half in Mount Airy. But really, my whole family is in West Philly still. So I was still going back to West for all family events. You know, my mom's side, pop's side, cousins, all that. And so I would say I'm like 65% West Philly, 35% Mount Airy. But that 35% is important because that's where I got the fly girl from. You know what I mean? Mount Airy was one of the flyest neighborhoods in Philly,
Okay.
Germantown, West Oak Lane. And I moved up there. They call it Uptown now, but we just called it Mount Airy, Germantown, West Oak Lane in the
Yeah.
70s when I moved up there. But by the 80s, we was the flyest people in the neighborhoods, man. The Mount Airy guys,
Yeah.
Wadsworth Ave, Stanton Ave, Finley Playground, then the West Oak Lane guys on the old guys, and then Germantown Avenue and all the Germantown people. So that's where it
Yeah.
came from. But I grew up in West Philly and to play football when I moved in West Oak Lane, or actually I was in Mount Airy, but I went to West Oak Lane to play football because it's right next to us. You know what I mean? So, if you lived in Mount Airy, you can play for the Oak Lane Wildcats, you can play for the Ivy Hill Saints or the Northwest Bantam. So we all played football. And I came up a regular dude wanting to play football, man. Went to Central High School, ran track and played football. And then I had uncles that was in the storytelling and movies in West Philly. And, growing up with them, I got into storytelling and movies. And then once I knew I could make money off of it at the college level, I kept doing it. And I ended up being one of the youngest doing it. And then the Fly Girl book, I was just writing about the 80s that we grew up in and the
Okay.
type of girls that we were chasing. And they had a song called Fly Girl from the Boogie Boys out of Brooklyn, 1985. And I was 16 years old that year. And ironically, that year, I got kicked out the house in Mount Airy. I had to go back to West Philly for the summer. So I was in West Philly in the bottom that summer when Fly Girl first came out in 1985. And
Yeah.
then, of course, I ended up writing the book, years later. And the book is still famous now, Fly Girl. But that's me, man. I'm a football player, movie lover. And I really didn't start writing and reading and all that kind of stuff till the college level, because I was in the streets like all the other guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 All right. That give me some different insight. So the next question I want to get
Different,
into, man.
different insight. What was you thinking? What was you thinking? You thought I was in the house every day reading books and writing and
What's so crazy, man? When you meet other book authors, sometimes that's what we do think. You get what I'm saying? You sit back like, damn, man, he probably just in there just writing, just in the room, just
nah,
writing mad
nah.
books.
No, but
Yeah.
what perception you had? Because it's always funny that way where people don't know what's the personality of a book writer. They have no
It,
idea. And I
it,
didn't
it,
fit a lot of that because I'm more on the athlete side. That's why I got my jersey on now. I'm more of a physical, in your face, physical dude. I'm not like no sit around. Now I'm an introvert, so I will watch. But when it's time for me to get involved, I'm involved, man. So it's funny how other people's perceptions. What did you think an author was supposed to be like? You know what I mean? Let me hear that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so crazy now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a book author myself. I have two written books. and two more coming. So, I have sat in the house and just wrote my books. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I own the magazines. So I'll be out and doing other things too. So
Yeah.
I get it. But when I see other book authors, sometimes I don't know why I just sit back and be like, damn, if he got that many books, he must be just sitting in the you
I
know what I'm
gotta
saying?
get the info. You gotta get the
Yeah,
information first. I'm out
I
there.
know,
Gotta get it
right?
first. Yeah,
I know,
you
right?
can't be James Bond and you just playing with the gadgets. You got to get out there and jump out the planes. You got to go after the bad guys. You got to ride the fast cars. You got to get the pretty girls. You know that. You trying to be
Absolutely.
James Bond. You got to do all that stuff to be able to write about it
Yeah,
on
that's
point. You know what I mean? Now
true.
I didn't do everything I wrote about, but I was around all of it. And then you do research on stuff too. But yeah, that's been funny to me, man, because, especially with Fly Girl, people start thinking, I'm feminine and I was hanging around girls all the time and all that. And I'm like, no, I'm just writing about the girls that we were after. You know what I mean? Like I was with the
Yeah,
dudes. I'm a football player. So the football, you got the most teammates. Basketball, you got what, 12 dudes.
yeah,
Football, you can have 50, 60 dudes. And in college, they got 100 dudes on the football team. That's why they double up numbers on offense and defense. So with me
that's
being a
true.
football player, I got the biggest locker room. I know the most amount of dudes, which I all wrote about in the book Fly Girl. I got a whole, in fact, there's more guys in the book than girls. But since it's called Fly Girl, they pay more attention to the girl, but they love the guys in the book. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
But
Absolutely.
I'll let you ask more questions. I just wanted to get to that. You got to, what is Omar Tyree like?
No, I feel you, man.
All right.
I feel you, man. Before we even dive into the book journey, right? I just want to ask, how therapeutic was football growing up for you?
Well, I didn't have a choice, man. My uncles and cousins were into it. So I was in the basement, and it's crazy how my personality got built around that. I was 4 years old, and what you had to do, you got run from one side of the basement, and you touch the wall for a touchdown,
Yeah,
right? So they throw you the ball, and then
absolutely.
I got like two uncles and a couple cousins, like four of them lined up in front of each other. So you got to get past each one of them to get to the wall. And we got cement, ceilings or the floors with cement with no elbow pads, none of that. So they tripping you up, you fall on your elbow, your head, your arm hitting the floor. And then whenever you would get hurt and try to cry, I'm 4 years old now. My uncles and cousins, take it like a man, take it like a man, suck it up, take it like a man. So I'm 4 years old, hurting like a mug, like, and so I learned how to take pain, dude. Like, so I've
Yeah,
never cried for pain. I've never had a broken bone. I've always been tough because of them sessions in the basement with my uncles and cousins where they talking about take it like a man. So you didn't want to cry because you didn't want, grandma, what's going on down there? Getting your uncles in trouble. So, dude, like I've been tough my whole life because of them sessions in the basement playing football. So it creates a tough exterior. And then it's like you become this man later on where now it's just all this feminine, metrosexual, push away from the type A man. So you grow old school like me. We old school, hardcore. It's like, yo, how do I fit in this new society where it's pro women, pro this, and it's crazy. I got a whole women's audience, but when they meet me, they like, oh, he's 1,000% man. Ain't nothing, feminine about him at all. But that's how I grew up with football. I grew up with it in the basement before I even went outside. And then when you go outside, man, you playing football, quarterback, receiver, shutting down guys. And I hit hard. I was a stocky body, rough. And so, yeah, I've had that football mentality my whole life. It's just ruggedness, masculine ruggedness since 4 years old in the basement.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's crazy, man. Yeah, and you know what, man? I kind of love it, right? Because it's like the eras was different. See, like I
Yeah.
grew up like a '90s baby. Uh, Now we used to play football on the concrete. Uh, we did a lot in the dirt hills and the dirt parks and all that. Um, you know, ordinary, ordinary 90 babies thing, breaking windows with rocks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Throwing
understand
rocks
it.
at buses. Yeah, hiding from
Absolutely.
the cops. Yeah, truancy officers. Yeah, we be out there 12 o'clock running from the cops. Yeah, all that stuff. Then I got to Mount Airy, and I had a curfew then because I had step pop Mount Airy wasn't playing that because you had more two parent households that were making money up there.
Yeah.
So when we got to Mount Airy, we had curfews and all that. We were still rugged Philadelphians. But when that 12 o'clock hit, you
Yeah.
know, your parents was like, yo, I got to work. You got to go to school tomorrow. Get your behind in the house. So, you know, Mount Airy, we have rules when we got 12 o'clock, you know. So I got a little bit of structure up there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's like, hey, yo, it's like each era was tougher a little bit. I give it to each era. It's like when you born in the '90s, like the '80s, yeah, they was tougher than the '90s, and then it's like you go to '70s, yeah, the '70s is tougher than the '80s. You go back to the '60s, like yeah, the '60s probably
Yeah.
tougher.
Yeah,
You
they
like yeah,
50s
yeah,
and the 50s was still fighting with white folks. So you already know,
exactly,
like, yeah, definitely.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But we
So
had, you know,
absolutely,
Philadelphia was still polling like that too, man. In the 80s, we still had areas where you couldn't go to. White people had the Northeast, they had the top end of West Philly, they had all the areas in South Philly. So you had
yeah,
areas you couldn't go to, man. Like, you know it was
so,
going to be a fight, you go over there. You know, even
yeah, man.
63rd Street, when I went to the top area of West Philly, once you cross 63rd Street, white people was ready to fight you up there, man, in West Philly. But now they gone. Now we got all 63rd all the way up to 77th. It's crazy, man, because from 63rd to 77th and Haverford, all that area in West Philly was all white people. And I went to school up there at 66 in Lansdowne. They had a school called Cassidy that they're rebuilding. They blew it down and now they're rebuilding it. So I can't wait to see what the new building is. I'm going to go there and visit and tell all the kids I used to go to school there for second and third grade in Cassidy in West Philly. Yeah,
Yeah,
small
that's
world.
cool.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow, man. So much history. Man,
yeah,
I'm learning so much right now by listening to you, brother.
yeah.
Um to dive into to the books, right? Book writing. Prolific book writer. Um Now I know I heard that you mentioned somewhat about it. I heard you mention something about it, but just explain more to the to the people, like what mind state was you in when you wrote the book Fly Girl, and most importantly, right? How important is it for that era of the special black woman?
Uh, I had just come off writing my first book was Colored on White Campus because I went to Pittsburgh to play football and then ended up transferring to Howard University to be with the HBCU black people. And when I wrote Fly Girl, you know, it was just the second book. I was just writing about the era. We had to write a lot about our neighborhoods, where we came from, our hobbies. And so Fly Girl became that whole area neighborhood book, the Mount Airy thing, the Germantown, the West Oak Lane with the football and the money and the whole move up thing. So you understand the first page of Fly Girl, she had moved up with her family to, you know, Mount Airy, where she had cousins that were still in North Philly. So if you read the first chapter, you understand that her cousins and her aunts and stuff were still in North Philly and didn't have the kind of money that she had. It wasn't big money, but it's the difference in living in North Philly versus Mount Airy. That's the first chapter. And then you have to understand her parents were having marital problems where the mother and father wasn't getting along with, you know, some of the petty items that men and women get into. So I dealt with the family first, just that move up to Mount Airy. And then the kids that were in Mount Airy and how Mount Airy became, you know, in the 1980s, you know, that fly area, you know. So if you read the book, if you're really paying attention, you're seeing how I'm breaking down the social economics of the black community in the first chapter started. So
Yes.
every chapter I'm breaking down culture. And a lot of people are just reading it for the excitement of it, but you're not paying attention to how I'm breaking down the social economic culture of black people in Philadelphia. In every single chapter, I'm breaking down the culture of who we are and what we did in the 80s. You know, so I was a very analytical, metaphorical writer from day one, even at a young age, understanding what it
Yep.
means for the black community, what it means for Philadelphia, what it means economically, culturally, the whole black power thing. And then I was at University of Pittsburgh and then at Howard. So I went to a white school and a black school. So I'm very astute on politics and culture. So it's not just a fun book. No, it's a book that's telling you something about black people. So I'm always been proud about that. You will never read a book about mine that's just a straight story. I'm always saying something about our community. And Fly Girl was about urban materialism and how we had lost our way in a whole lot of that get money stuff, you know, including the JBM that came out later on in the 80s. You know what I mean? I didn't hit it hard in my book because my book kind of ended in the mid 80s, but the JBM started like mid 80s and then late 80s early 90s was crazy, you know what I mean? But it was all in that materialistic era of the 1980s of cocaine crack epidemic of hip hop. So that's all in there. Guys started selling crack, started stealing and whatnot, stick up kids. It's all in the book, you know what I mean? Because I understood that that was a part of our culture in the 80s.
Yes, yes. 80s, man. And answer this. Answer me this. Who were some of your favorite artists during the 80s?
Okay, now, are you talking about hip hop artists?
Hip hop and R&B artists,
Okay.
or rock artists, or just phenomenal artists.
Yeah, when we was coming up in the 80s, you know, the R&B was still old head R&B. So we had Rick James, we had Prince. Michael Jackson was crazy with it cuz like y'all make
Yes.
fun of Michael Jackson cuz by the time you got to the 90s, he started dyeing his skin and all that kind of, you know, his hair, nose up. But in the 80s, he was still black and chocolate, and he was working with Quincy Jones with Off the Wall and Thriller and all. Dude was on top of the world, like, and Prince was on top of the world, the Purple Rain and all that. So
Great.
our R&B back then, you know what I mean? Because that's the 80s. The 70s, it was like, you know, the OJs and Teddy Pendergrass and Marvin Gaye. So it was like Motown and Philadelphia hip hop, Philadelphia International Records. But then the 80s, it was Michael Jackson, man, and Prince. And then we had Keith Sweat, Tony Terry, Al B. Shore popped out. And then with the hip hop, of course, we had LL Cool J, Run DMC. In Philadelphia, we had Schoolie D from the Parkside Avenue Killers in West Philly. You know what I mean? Then Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff came out in the late 80s. You know, we had BDP, you know, Boogie Down Productions, Big Daddy Kane, you know, Marley Marl and all of them. You know, the Queensbridge, MC Shan and all. So we had a whole lot of 80s people. Then we had the females, you know, MC Light and what's that? Salt and Pepper, Queen Latifah popped out. You know what I mean? So yeah, we had a whole lot of Roxanne, the real Roxanne, all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Yo Yo. So man, all them artists was out there. Then you, of course, you had NWA popped out, you
Mhm.
know, with Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and Easy E and all them dudes. And then the West Coast had Too Short out there, you know. And then the late 80s, you know, Outkast popped in from down south. You know, they was one of the first groups to pop in from down. Then we had the Two Live Crew from Miami with all
Too.
that old bass music stuff. So we had all that. Then we had out of Houston, Texas, the Ghetto Boys popped out over there. You know, so I mean, it was a hell of it. People was popping up from all over the country, man. You know, in the hip hop era of the 80s.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's heavy, man. That's
Yeah, that's
heavy.
all.
That's heavy.
That's all part of the culture, man. That's, you know, all of it, part of the culture.
Hell yeah, man. So 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 to even dive back more into the books, right? What do you feel as though is the toughest book that you have written?
Okay, now you say toughest. What way in which you're using toughest? Like the hardest, the best? Like which way are you using that word toughest?
Yeah, like the hardest book that you have written that you may have took time, you may have even longed it out. You may have, it might have took a long stretch to write it, or you might have had writer's block during the periods in this book. What was that toughest book that you had to write and you finally
Well,
overcame it, and when it came out it was just
okay, so you look at that. Tough is now you're talking about like hardest, and none of them books were hard for me, man. Like you know what I mean. Like I don't have writer's block, but the book I put the most into and I loved the most was Just Say No, and that was a book about two booze from the South. One was a musician and the other was his manager, and how
okay.
crazy it can get in the music industry when women love you, cuz, and you want women, and now they losing their minds with no panties, no bras, following you after the shows and stuff. So I had a dude named John Loverboy Williams from Charlotte, and they moved up to Philadelphia during the soul era, you know what I mean, with D'Angelo and Music Soul Child, Bilal and all them in the late 80s. And so they came up there and started putting out their music in the middle of Philadelphia and became legends. And so John Loverboy Williams blew up when his manager, Darren Harmon, was a football player, and they trying to navigate, trying to have discipline when you got all them girls and all that money and all that ego. So if you look at what's going on with Puffy and what they talking about with Jay-Z and Kanye West and all the hip hop stuff and giving up your soul and the Illuminati and all that nonsense they talk about, it really gets crazy when you have that much power as a
Mm.
musician. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say tough like in hard, but the most intricate book I wrote, 540 pages, Just Say
Mm.
No, the music industry, on how insane it is and how you can have your way, dude. You talking about Chris Brown in a Lamborghini with Rihanna at 19 years old, and then she said or did something that made him lose his mind. And I'm never going to believe that Chris Brown just lost his mind for no reason and put a whooping on her. Whatever she said or did pissed that dude off, you know. So I'm just looking at all that Just Say No, you know, R. Kelly with all them crazy women, you know what I mean? You look at all these dudes, you know, and you look at all the guys from history, you know, go all the way back to Teddy Pendergrass and his stuff in Philadelphia, and Marvin Gaye getting shot by his pops, and Sam Cooke getting in trouble with so many dudes get in trouble with women, man, when you got that many women. So Just Say No is 3 words, but it's hard as ever to do that when you got all the women. That was my toughest book in the sense of writing a long, intricate book that I was into. It was
Mm.
my favorite book for a long time, you know, Just
Yeah.
Say No. And that's the masculine book, super masculine, with two masculine dudes where you trying to figure out how they can negotiate their own egos when you got that much power. And that's what's going on right now with Puff Daddy, is that power, boy. First you get the
Mhm.
money, then you get the power. That's real as it. And we came up with that movie in the 80s. You know, we saw the Scarface movie with Tony Montana, you know, played by Al Pacino, and he kicked the law at it. In this country, Manny, first you get the money. And once you get the money, then you get the power. And then when you get the power, then you get the woman. You know what I mean? So we all came up with that money, power, woman thing in the 80s. And that's that Just Say No book. So that's my toughest, if you want to use that slang and the way you're using it. The toughest, roughest. Yeah. Just
That's
say no.
that's heavy. I love it. I love it, man. That's masculine alpha man type shit. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I'm talking about.
we
That's
can't do
dope.
that now. The women trying to strip you from that masculine stuff now. You got to find women
Absolutely.
overseas now to still let you be that way, because a whole lot of American women, they ain't having it now. So now we got to be passport boys and go down to South America, go over to Africa, go up to London, so we can still be alpha male dominant men. You know, but a whole lot of women love me, love my books and love the work. So peace and love to all the women that love it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, um, what does it mean to be a phenomenal writer?
I mean, right now I'm trying to do movies, to be honest with you. So, you know, you guys are up on the book thing, but I've been trying to transition into movies for a while, and it takes more money to do that. I got Philadelphia movies I want to do. I want to shoot Fly Girl in Philadelphia. So it's a lot of projects. I'm not done yet, man. Knock on wood. Give me 30 more years, lad. You know, give me the 85. I got some movies to make, so I got to start doing that. I got new books I'm working on right now, including the Eagles book. I got an Eagles book that I'm finishing up right now when they play Green Bay in Brazil. Yeah,
What?
International Eagles book. Yeah, I wrote that book. Yeah, the Eagles. It's called American football. That's what they call it outside of the United States, because they call soccer football everywhere else, especially in Brazil. It's Telemundo football. They talking about soccer. You know, so you got to say American football when you're talking about our sport. And we played a hell of a game down there against Green Bay to kick off the season, September the 6th, Friday.
Yeah.
So I got that. Yeah, I'm right about them 7 days going down there, that week of going down there to play the game. It's a hell of a book. It's not just about the Eagles, it's about the fan base going down there, intermingling with the Brazilians, and the Brazilians getting ready for the game and how they celebrate the game and all that. So it's a great story, international, and it's going to be one of the genres that translates into other languages and cultures. So I can't wait to put that out. So I'm busy, man. But movies, I got to get the movies, man. I went to the movies last night to see Gladiator 2, and now they
Mhm.
got Wicked. I want to see Wicked out with the black, you know, witch and whatnot with the green skin. I want to check that out. And then I got to see, they got a Christmas movie, that the red roof or something like that, red something. The red, I want to see
I
that. And then they got the Venom movie. I still haven't seen it. The Spider-Man suit thing
Yeah.
turning to Venom. So it's 4 movies. I saw one of them. I got 3 more to see because I'm a movie buff, man. I love movies. So yeah, the movies, I ain't done as a writer till I start getting an opportunity to do movies and films.
Absolutely. And how was that? And yeah, I'm seeing Brother Prophet in here. He was saying how was that Gladiator 2?
I didn't like it like Gladiator 1, man. Yeah, it's like Gladiator, the first one had a lot more elements to it. It was a lot more dense. That's why a lot of times sequels, they fall short, man, because
Sure.
they can't live up to the first one. So, I
Sure.
came out, yeah, and I was like, I give it about a 3, 2.5, 3, you know what I mean? Like, but everybody else going to see it and they're going to, come up to their own conclusion. But it didn't have the density and the length and the complexities of the first one, dude. It didn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're talking to the right dude. I understand how to break stuff
Absolutely.
down. It's not as dense, not as complex, not as seasoned, as the first one.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And I gotta mention something because I heard you mention something, right? And yeah, most definitely. Uh, I heard you mention Green Bay. I'm definitely a Green Bay Packers fan. Definitely a
Oh
Green
yeah,
Bay
I
Packers.
love Jordan Love, man.
Yeah,
But they had to lose the game. They had to lose the game so I can write my Eagles story. It would have messed it up if the Eagles had lost, but they won in
I hear
dramatic
that.
fashion, and the
Yeah,
game was up and down, which adds to the storyline because they had 7 lead changes. And I
yeah,
had one of my characters was betting on the game, and he was betting on the scores and betting on the running. So he's going up and down. So I needed that so the character can really respond to a great game. But at the end of it, the Eagles had to win, and they did win. So that because that would have messed. If Green Bay would have won, that would have messed up my whole damn book. I didn't think I could have wrote it if Green Bay had won. But yeah, we got
yeah,
Jordan Love. They got a lot of love for Jordan Love in the book because I got Green Bay fans in there, and I like Jordan Love too. I
yeah.
just didn't want him to beat the Eagles.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. I hear that, bro. I hear that.
Yeah, I like
It's
the
so
book
crazy.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy because my whole family, everybody Eagles fans. I'm the only Green Bay Packers fan. So. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they supposed to
but
be. They in Philadelphia. They
abs-
supposed to be.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But I look at it like this. I was like, listen, I'm still down with the green. I'm just
Yeah,
green and yellow. You know
yeah, I
what I'm
got you.
saying?
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah,
But we won
yeah,
the game, so I'm cool. But yeah, we got an Eagles and Packers football book coming, and we got to talk to the NFL and the Eagles. Green Bay's gonna like it too. We did good by Green Bay because that's the classic football place. Green Bay, Lambeau Field's classic, great quarterbacks, and Jordan Love is the next one in the long line. So we understand what it is. I love football in general, so it was a good book. But that book is coming together now. We're going to be pitching that. It should be out 2026 because it always takes them a year to prepare a book and get the whole market ready. Hopefully, I can get it out before the Super Bowl of 2026. So it won't be
yeah,
out no time soon because books, you always got to map them out, edit them, plan them out, and then give it structure so it comes out where everybody knows about it. And that's going to be a big release. You know what I mean? So maybe I can get the Super Bowl parties before it come out in 2026, but we'll see.
yes, yes. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
American football, baby, from Omar Tyree. Yeah.
yes, 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 absolutely,
Go ahead.
absolutely. And for young book artists, right? That's probably upcoming. Like they need to know certain things on how to create their books, right? What fundamental thing can you give to young creators on creating books? Like what's the steps of creating their own books?
Well, they can email me at Omar, the number 8, Tyree, Tyree at AOL.com. I actually have a writing and publishing consultation service where I break down a lot of the basic elements because I kept getting asked the same questions over and over. So I just went ahead and wrote out a map out, and then I did a whole session for people that's really getting serious because, of course, I got editors, I got PR people, I got printing shops, I got distributors. I've been dealing with all them people for 30 years. So I know the whole industry. So you trying to get in, you know what I mean? I know what you need to do and how you need to do it. But the other two things I tell people, if you're trying to be a writer, writers write. Don't tell me that you trying to do it, you thinking about doing it, you dream about doing it. When you gonna start doing it? You got to
Yeah.
write. You know what I mean? Like, so
Exactly.
whether you writing in a
Exactly.
notebook, writing on your cell phone, writing in a computer, write it and then share it with your friends and see what they think about it, you know, so you can improve it and understand how to do that. And then I always tell people, start with short stuff. Do not try to write a novel the first time. Write an essay. Write a quick contemporary. Write a review of somebody's movie or album. Write small stuff and learn how to finish. Small stuff that you share with people so you can learn how to finish. Then you can go to a longer short story. Then you can go to a longer essay. Then you can go to then you can get to the novels that are 200, 300, 400 pages. You know, because I can write 600, 700 pages, but I understand how to finish the small stuff so you can finish each chapter, each section, and each book. And that's what I've been doing. So if you start off with the small stuff, you can learn how to build it. But if you start off with the big stuff and you can't finish it, then you end up calling me like, I'm stuck on page 35. You should have finished at page 20 instead of trying to go to 35 because you're not seasoned enough yet. You know what I mean? That's like a person trying to run a marathon and you ain't ran a mile yet. Like, yo, dude, you got to run about 3 miles before you even think about running a marathon. So that's why I tell all writers, write small stuff first to get the confidence of writing bigger stuff. And you always got to share it with other people to see how you going. Always get opinions. Always. Because
Yes.
you're not writing it for you. You're writing it for, well, if you're writing it for you, fine, keep it to yourself. As soon as you start pushing it to other people, you want to make sure you're good at it. So if you're going to do that, make sure you got other people that's critiquing your work so you can get stronger at what you're doing. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. You listen. You are absolutely right about that, right? Because I'm thinking about the writing process that I took, right? And and it's crazy that you said that because that's what I started off with. I started off with poetry books.
Yeah,
I only had 22 poems in a book, short, um, and I had quotes separating the poems.
got you.
So the way it was set up, it was like short things showing my work, and then I did like 3 books in that
Yeah,
form. So now I have my first self-written novel already written already. I'm just not dropping it until 2025.
okay, good
Yeah.
deal. How many pages is that? How many pages?
How many pages?
See, that's
It's
something
not
like
even that long. I
you,
think it's
you
like
double. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
think it's about what I think it's about what 15, 16 pages.
You got a book that's 15, 16 pages?
I got a book that's 15, 16 pages.
Is it nonfiction?
Um,
Gotta be.
it, it is a nonfiction.
You
It's a
gotta be.
nonfiction. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
nonfiction.
yeah.
It's a because to be honest with you, it's actually it's a real story. It's based on a true story.
Okay.
So like it's really
All right.
I really
I,
worked with somebody my previous job and they told me I could use the story and I was like I'm gonna tell a story.
all right, good deal. So that's what you do. 15 pages. That's not a book though. It's not a book.
Yeah.
That's a 15 series short story. That's what that is. That ain't a book.
Okay.
You need about 10, you need about 10 more of those and then that can become a book. You put in a
Yeah.
compilation. But yeah, that's a short story. That's not a book. But you can put that out. You can put it on what's that? Instagram, not Instagram, Amazon. You can sell it on Amazon for $2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what people are doing now. They can put out anything now because you got a market for it. Yep.
Yes. Yes. Now, if you know what, yeah, that's something we got to talk about behind the scenes because I wanted to ask. Yeah, I wanted to ask something, but I get it. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, to even dive more just into the words, right? Um, when it comes to considering that you are that legendary book author, right? I gotta ask this question, right? Besides your books, right? Besides your
My
books,
top
what?
five, man, my top five. Richard Wright will always be the dude. He was very serious, native son, black boy, went to France. He was serious about black work, black culture from Chicago, always be number one. Then there's a brother named Chester Himes who had a whole lot of Harlem books,
Okay.
Coffin Ed Graham, Grave Gibbet Jones. He did a whole lot of Harlem books talking about black culture in Harlem and a whole lot of the work that he did. Then you got Iceberg Slim, who came out with a whole lot of the pimp and gangster books. Pimp, the story of my life, led to Donald Goines, but I like Iceberg Slim more because he was the master that started it.
Yeah.
Then I'm looking at Toni Morrison's great work. A lot of people can't keep up with her work because it's so didactic and so analytical. It's so, mind-boggling. But you got to go into it, read a lot. You understand what she's doing. And then the hottest dude from this new era, dude by the name of Walter Mosley, put out a whole lot of great content, including the what's that, the mystery series of what's his daggone name? I forget the name. Easy Rawlins, and Denzel Washington played in one of the movies, Devil in a Red Dress. So the Easy Rawlins series, and then that's the Octavia Butler does great science fiction. She got a book called Wild Seed. That's my favorite all-time book, and I even wrote a screenplay for Wild Seed, the movie, because I want to go after that as a movie too. Yeah. But they my top 5, top 6, writers. Terry McMillan opened up the brand new marketplace. A lot of the young people were inspired by me, but I was inspired by the old heads, so that's my top 6. And then Terry McMillan, she opened up this brand new market to be commercial for black people. But I like a whole lot of writers, but that's my old heads that I, structured my purpose for. Now, my writing is different from theirs, but it's the purpose that you're doing it for, and it's for the culture. So I'm always embedded in the culture. I'm just not writing for the hell of it. I'm writing for my people for a purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you read a brother of mine. Absolutely. Man, I love that, man. I love that, man. Phenomenal, man.
Yep.
And now after this interview, I'm gonna have to look at this interview. I'm gonna look up those authors and do some research myself.
Yeah. They all gonna pop out. They're top notch, all top notch. Yeah. Walter Mosley is a man. Yeah. Go ahead.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, brother. Man, listen, man. I love learning. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. That's what makes me read all the time. I love knowing. I don't like not knowing stuff. In fact, we used to have that as a joke saying in Philly. You don't know, you better ask somebody. You know what I mean? You don't know, you better find out. We used to say that in Philly. You don't know, you better find out. You better go ask somebody. All the old heads that hear that, they like, yeah, we used to say that, because y'all done changed up a lot of the culture from old to new in Philly. So I'm going to say a whole lot of stuff that's old. Even when you say young boy, it's B-O-A-H, like boy is boy. We saying boy, but we don't say it like white folks say it. It's like you're using the N-word without the E-R the way white people say it. We say it with the A or the A-H. That's what we doing in Philly when we say boy. But it come out like boy, if you don't get off the steps, boy, if you don't get over here. And y'all guys talking about it like it's bull, like B-U-L-L, like Taurus the bull. That's not what we were saying. We were saying boy, but it don't come out as boy. What's up, boy? But it come out, what's up, boy? So we're not saying Taurus the bull. Like, every time I hear it, like, no, it's not bull. It's young bull, like young boy. Then we say buck too. We say that all the time. What's up, young buck? And then old head. Now, old head was the Philadelphia word. Now we got young boy saying OG, which is really a West Coast term, for all them gangsters and stuff. But now we got young boys all over the country saying OG because of hip hop. Hip hop makes the language transversable. But in Philadelphia, we said old head. We didn't say, OG. So I'm sticking to the Philadelphia stuff when I call myself an old head or a young buck, because that's Philadelphia vernacular. You know what I mean? Just like Jones and Chumpies and Yamin and all that, which is all in fly girl. But that's just, lingo for all the people that want to know. Because I've been in Detroit, they got different lingo. New York, of course, they got different lingo. D.C. and Baltimore got different lingo. Down south got different. Houston and Atlanta got different lingo. California got different lingo. Then if you in L.A., it's different from Oakland and San Fran. So everybody got their own lingo. But hip hop has made it transferable from a lot of different cities where it didn't used to be that transferable. We had our own culture, but then when people start biting everything off of videos, everybody doing the same thing now. But yeah, that's all part of the culture. When you writing books, you got to make sure that you locked into that particular culture. So if you're going to write about, the Black Mafia family out of Detroit, you got to have the Detroit lingo and what Detroit is into. because Detroit was very specific. That's different from Chicago, different from New York, different from Philly. So whenever you writing stuff, you have to be pinpoint on that culture. The same way I broke down New Orleans when I went down there and wrote my book, Leslie. And that's another one of my famous books from New Orleans. I had to go down there and get the New Orleans culture, baby. And they call everything, hey, baby, what you doing, baby? How long you gonna be here, baby? Where you go? Everybody's baby in New Orleans, baby, you know? So yeah, every culture, when you go and be a writer, you got to pick up on culture. I love culture, Jamaican
Yeah,
culture, Nigerian culture, all of it. I got a book I'm about to write on Trinidad and Tobago with Carnival, and they got a different culture. They got different talk. They got different looks. They got different stuff they do. So if you want to be a writer, you really have to immerse yourself in culture and make sure you get it right when you're writing about people.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's heavy. That's some heavy gems right there. That's
Yeah.
heavy, heavy gems. And tell us, brother, most importantly, what do you love most about yourself?
Oh man, I love the tenacity that God gave me. You know, coming from the bottom, it don't stop. You know, if I could ever write my own story, you know, I had a good friend and nemesis, Garland Forsyth, in the bottom. They had a whole Forsyth family. And Garland was like 3 months younger than me. I'm an Aries, my birthday in April. His birthday in July. He a Leo. And we was going at it, you know, like he was more ferocious and I was, you know, that crazy Aries. And then, you know, we would battle. But Garland was more ferocious than I was, so he would win some of them battles until our last fight. And our last fight, man, I gave it to him, boy, and we never fought again after that. But that last fight, but the tenacity of that last fight, dude, we were 7 years old in the middle of West Philadelphia, throwing hard knuckles for like 10 minutes, cuz just going at it. And I must have dropped Garland like 3 times. He kept getting back up, dude. The dude would not stop. And then his sister Gloria had to bake it up. Gloria had to drag him off the fight, and I still had my fist up, huffing and puffing. But it's the tenacity that God gave me not to quit, man. Rough stuff, like I'm going to keep doing it. So even though I haven't been able to make movies yet and lost a lot of dough going through personal issues and that, I'm right back in it, getting my stuff back together, and I'm going back after those movies at 55 with all this energy still, you know what I mean? So, you know, the tenacity that God gave me is wonderful. I still got the skills, and I'm going to get right back to it. But if you quit and you die trying or you know, you stop trying, then it's over with. So you can't quit. You got to stay in the game. You got to stay healthy. So I just look at that, man, the health and the tenacity that I still have so I can stay in the game and keep producing for the next year and the next generation and the next project.
Yes, yes, yes. And answer this, right? How important is it for men to have healthy mentals in these times that we living in right now?
Man, I wish I had a mentor when I was having issues with my love life and my family. But I wish, dude, you know, because my pop, I didn't talk to him about everything, but, you know, I wish I had. I wish I could go back because when you're trying to make a relationship work, you don't have all the answers when you're still young. You know what I mean? You young, the young woman, young, you're trying to work stuff out. So marriage is really a rough thing, man. That was rough on me because things change and you got to adjust to them. You got to adjust to the woman. She got to adjust to you. And that's a hard game, man. So that I wish I had mentors strictly for relationships, man. That thing is rough. And everybody go through it, man. Trying to have a man and a woman on the same accord, work things out for 10, 20, 30 years. It's rough, brother, because girls want what they want now, too. And it's hard. So I wish I had a mentor for that. But if a guy asks me, I'm going to say, look, if you having problems with your young lady, go to counseling immediately to figure out professionally what y'all need to do and where the issues are. Because sometimes it could be her issue more than yours. And you go to a psychologist and then you can tell y'all that, like, okay, you got to stop doing this. You got to start doing all that. So, you know, I would tell all young people, get that counseling, man, because relationships is the worst if you don't know what you're doing. And then all the money, make sure you invest your money right, keep your money nice and safe and sound, and don't get too crazy with your money because you're going to need it years later. You know what I mean? So learn good money habits.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
And considering you are a Philadelphia native, right? How do you most importantly feel about all the gun violence, right? All the gun violence that's really plaguing our communities between the inner city young youth. How do you feel about this?
Well, when you got guns and people going to use them and they get personality attitudes and they want to beef with each other, they going to use them guns. Now, we used the guns, these knuckles, when we came up, so we didn't have as much, gun violence and shooting. But that's what I tell you again, when they're watching TV and they're hearing about other cities and shootouts, Philadelphia was a boxing city. Everybody knows that. You can ask all the other cities. New York knows that. Chicago knows that. DC knows that. Detroit, LA. Everybody knows Philadelphia is a boxing city.
Yeah.
But what happened was when you start, copying what other people are doing, and you hear about DC shooting people in Baltimore and New York and LA and Chicago, you start copying what they're doing. So now you don't want to fight no more. You don't want to do the fist thing. Now you just want to shoot somebody. So it's really Philly copying what's going on in the bigger United States and the world with people using gun violence. They don't want to settle a dispute with fists and get beat up with the ice bucket and the water and, the warrior stuff that we used to do in Philadelphia. Now they just want to shoot and kill you. So again, it's us adapting to somebody else's culture when we know Philadelphia was a city for the straight up fair one, the straight up fight. You settle your differences like a man, you walk away, you get ice, all right, it's over with. We came up like that in the 70s and the 80s. In the 90s, jokers started shooting. And if you were selling drugs, they're going to shoot for drugs. They ain't fighting over drugs. They're trying to kill you. So that's a lot of the culture, too. Like, guys trying to kill each other, in that new culture. But that's not the culture that I grew up in. We was fist fighters. And I still got them skills right now. I will tear a young boy up right now, dude, because y'all didn't come up that way. We came up that way every day. So my skills is still terrible. I'm vicious with the fist, boy, because that's how we came up in the 80s. You want no getting around it. So yeah, but the gun violence, yeah, it's just y'all copying what the rest of the country is doing instead of being Philadelphians. Because all the old heads is hearing me talking right now. We know we came up with the straight up fair one right in the middle of the street. Your friends can watch, your mama can watch, and she can't help you. It's a straight up one-on-one. You get your ass whipped, you get your ice on, everybody talk about it. You go out there, have another fair one, sharpen up your skills, and have another fight if you want to fight that dude again. But nobody was getting killed or shot up and all that crazy stuff that y'all doing now. So it's different. I came from a different era.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The eras, listen, man, the older era, like I was saying, the older eras are tougher than the eras before. I mean, than the eras after. You know what I mean? They are tougher. Like I was born in the 90s. I'm not gonna lie, the 80s era was tougher.
Yeah.
Like like I said, the 70s was tougher than them. They was tougher than them.
Yeah.
The 30s was tougher than the 40s.
Yeah. So we saying we getting softer every 10 years. It getting softer and softer.
Every 10 years, I don't know what happened.
you can't be no type A dominant man now. They're like, what are you doing? It's too hard for the people. What are you doing? Stop it. Cut it out. And Philadelphia is an Italian city too. It's an Italian city, and you know how rugged they are. You know what I mean? In fact, this ring I got on, this ring I still got on my finger right here. See this ring right here? That ring right there, I bought from the Italians on 13th and Market when they still had the Italian jewelry stores, because they ain't got them like that now, the Italian and Jewish jewelry stores. I think I bought it for like $40 back in 1986. So this ring is like damn near 40 years old, cuz, and I never take them off. I got a ring on this other finger too, cuz it's a boxing. I got both rings on both hands for the symbolism of fist fighting. Even though I haven't had a fight since 17. But if I got to do it, I know how to do it immediately, boy. It's in your blood, So yeah, it's just a different era, man. Different era.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible, man. Yo, man, I'm excited to have you on the line, man. Yo, man, I'm learning so much. It feel like I'm talking to my pop. My pop about 58. About 58. So
that's my
that's how I feel right now. So yeah, that's that era, man. So,
what neighborhood your pop came up in?
He's from back Haynes Street, Waterview, and all that.
Yeah, Haynes Street was big time. Haynes Street. Yeah. And then they had this other crew called the High Low that was close by Haynes Street. And we had this skating ring up in northeast off of Roosevelt Boulevard, dancing skates, whatever. And all them dudes from Germantown, They get in there, be like 100 of them. The hollow, the hollow, the hollow, and you be like, yo, it's like 100 of them dudes in there,
Yeah,
and they be at dancing skates in Roosevelt Boulevard on Sunday nights. But yeah, Haynes Street was one of the roughest streets up in that
yeah,
uptown area, Germantown, Mount Airy, West Oak Lane. All went to Germantown High School. I knew some of them boys, played football with some of them boys. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, Haynes Street. So your pop was from back the way. That was a
yo,
popular street back then.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Yeah, my pop used to take me to the they used to have the annual cookouts every year. I used to go out with
Yeah,
young
yeah. In fact,
take me, you know what I mean?
We trying to do one this year for Fly Girls coming back. So we trying to do a Germantown Day cookout for the Fly 80s this coming June. We trying to do that 2025. So you just pulled up. We want to do that right there, Germantown Avenue. They got the park up there. I think it's called Vernon Park or something like that. So we
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about doing
bro.
that. Yeah, we think about doing that this summer, brother. You just broke that. So tell your pop we trying to do the Fly 80s party up in Germantown, Vernon Park, this summer. So we putting that together now.
No doubt, no doubt,
Small
no
world.
doubt. He'd definitely love to come out. And it's so crazy that you said that Vernon Park,
Yeah.
right? Vernon Park is very significant because to be honest with you, man, rest in peace, my grandfather. My grandfather died in that park.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
He used to always walk that area in that park. He was an older gentleman. He had the vitiligo skin.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, he had like a brown nose, but he had a vitiligo skin. He
Yeah.
had the white blotches on the skin and stuff like that. And
I wrote about that in my book, Leslie. Leslie's younger sister had vitiligo in the book. Yeah, definitely. Yup. I understand it. Yep. I've been
absolutely.
around people with it. Yeah. But so somebody shot him or something in the park. How he died in the
Oh,
park?
oh no, no. My
He just
grandpa, man,
fell
he
down,
just he
health,
just got old,
regular
man. He
health.
just passed out
And
and just fell down and
he
just
just happened to be in the park at the time.
he had to be in the park. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's something else. Yep.
Yeah, he had to be in the park, and a lot of old heads knew him. I was like, damn, a lot of old heads told. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm Addison. They was calling me by my last name. I was like, yeah, I'm Addison too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
how
oh,
it works. Like in the bottom, I'm part of the McLaurens and the Briggs family. And then we had the Forsyths, we had the Wilkes, we had the Wilsons. Everybody knows last names. That's how it is. Because when you got big families, the whole family got the name. So, with the
absolutely.
McLaurens, it was 10 of us McLaurens. And then the Briggs, we had like 30 Briggs. Because my grandmother was a Briggs that married a McLaurin. So she had McLaurens, but she really still part of the Briggs family. So the
Yeah,
Briggs, they was always over the house. So it's the Briggs and the McLaurens. And then the
yeah,
whole neighborhood knew, like, yo, the Briggs and McLaurens, it's like 30, 40 of them. Don't mess with them. So that's the way it is. When they know your last name, that's the way it go.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. And it's so crazy when certain people see you, like especially older people, they just call you straight by your last name. You be like, damn, how you know my last name?
Yeah, you part of the trend. Yeah, the
Yeah,
McLaurins. You the McLaurin nephew. Yeah, you Joe and them boys. Yes, that's how you Mac and them nephew, ain't you? Yeah, you so and so nephew. And then all right, he cool. We all right. He all right. It's so and so nephew. So yeah,
yeah,
when they know your family, you get protected. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because in the bottom, I can go down there. They know the McLaurin and the Briggs. But that was back then. Now it's like everybody moved away and whatnot. But when you were in that era, yeah, your name could protect you because immediately Addison, oh, he's cool. I know his grandpa. No, he cool. Let him go. And you know it. You know what I mean? So that was the way it was in every city, every area. Black people, it's part of the culture, man. That's just normal. If your family is respected, then everybody respect that name when they hear it. That's the way it works.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And what do you love most about black people? Most importantly,
I mean, when you black, man, you just black. You have to love them because you part of them. You know what I mean? You're gonna make up. Every culture is gonna love something significant about themselves.
yeah,
But we the strongest culture. Black started everything, so they couldn't break us. They broke the Native Americans. They broke the East Indians. They can break the Chinese, but the black people, we gonna stay here forever. So the strength of the black people is probably number one. Black people are the strongest, man. We the strongest. That black blood and melanin. That's why they had to build the whole country with the black back. They couldn't do it with the Native American. They couldn't do it with the Asian. They couldn't do it with white people. They had to build America on the blacks of the strongest people on earth, them black African golden people. And they built it in America. They built it in South America. They built it in Latin America. And they built it in Africa, the backs of black people. So we the strongest people on earth, man. Everybody knows it. We started it. And everybody else is just a strain of the black man and the black woman. Everybody know that. So, you know, that's we the original man, original woman. You know, of course, we got all different elements from us now. Of course, me being a light brother, you being a light brother, we got different elements. But as long as you got that strand of the black African gene in you, you
Yeah.
got a strand of that original man. So that's what the black power is about, that originality from Africa.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Oh man. Oh man, I love it. And last but not least, right? Last but not least,
Yeah.
right? Um, what advice do you have for striving young brothers, right, that want to be book authors, they want to be artists, or simply they just want to dive into the industry somewhat that you may have dived into, right, as being an entrepreneur? What
Right.
do they need to do to be successful entrepreneurs? What do these young brothers need to do to be grounded in being an exceptional man? And what do they need to do to just be uh, make sure that they put their craft first to elevate?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, you know, mentors is a good thing to have, but a lot of times we ain't gonna have them because you're gonna be in a place where you by yourself and nobody believes in what you're doing. So I tell young dudes all the time, ignore the naysayers and do what you got to do every single day. And you seek out the people who doing what you want to do, even if you got to read it in the book or look at it on YouTube. If you need to be inspired by another dude that's writing books or doing movies, then go to YouTube and listen to them talk and get inspired that way.
Yeah.
So you can boost yourself up, because a lot of times you're not going to have that role model, that mentor around you. And then you start making excuses. Why ain't had nobody around me? You don't have to have nobody around you. Go to YouTube and listen to people and then do what you got to do. Improve what you got to improve. Because sometimes you got to pat your own back. You got to be your own hero to make stuff happen. We can't keep looking for somebody. So I was my own man doing my own writing. I didn't have nobody I was looking up to. I was doing it because I was good at it. And I said, I'm going to do it. My friends was making jokes and stuff. Man, you a football player, man. You ain't no Stephen King. How you going to write a book? They was making jokes. It was funny to them. So I had to ignore my friends and keep doing what I got to do. Because a lot of times people don't understand what you're doing. So they're not going to jump on the bandwagon. They got to see you successful first. So you got to do what you got to do regardless, man. You don't wait for nobody. And if you need some mentoring and stuff like that, you got something called a cell phone that got a search engine. And all you got to do is type in what you're doing and search for people that's doing what you're doing and start reading about them and getting your inspiration from other people that did the same thing you did. Because you may not get it from your mama. You may not get it from your uncle. You may not get it from your friends. You may not get it from your school. You may not get it from your neighborhood, your city, none of that. You got to get it wherever you can get it from so you can do what you need to do. Because I don't want to hear no excuses. If you built for this, then make sure you get what you need to get, however you need to get it. And sometimes you got to be the first one and the only one. And I can say that because I'm an Aries. So Aries, we always the first in the zodiac, and we don't back down from the opportunity to be first. So sometimes you can't follow. Sometimes you got to be the leader.
That's heavy.
Right on.
That's heavy. That was heavy. That was heavy, man. Listen, man. Man, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so
Thank
much
you. Thank you,
for
man.
coming to the platform.
To know the young boys still care about us old heads, that's good. You know what I mean? It's good to know.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Because for real, man. Honestly, man, the way I look at it, I'm 33 years old, right? I was born 1991. I love the essence of the realness. I was definitely, born and raised with my father. So my
Right.
father taught me a lot of this, you know what I mean? He
Right.
raised me in a good way. I know about a lot of the legends, artist wise.
Right.
And he just rooted that, like you were saying, my dad was tough on me. He ain't playing all that crying and all that nonsense,
Yeah.
none of that.
Yeah.
Man, where can the people find you at?
Well, on Instagram, you got only one Omar Tyree, which is important. I only got 10,000 followers because, it's like I'm not on a thing doing scandalous, interviews and sensationalism. It's just wisdom and culture, for me. So it's harder particularly when you're old here, they follow young people and people that's getting into crazy stuff. But I'm just building mine slowly but surely, little by little. But yeah, that social media is now the monster. Everything else is just Omar Tyree, Omar Tyree. But the main thing is the Instagram, and that's only one, the number one, only one Omar Tyree. But you can catch me everywhere. And then I got Hot Lava Entertainment as my website where I do music and film and live events and other stuff of that nature, videos and stuff. So, 30 years, if I get 30 more years, I'm going after them films. We still negotiating films now. So we're going to have more books. I'm going to start an imprint where I'm putting out other people's books, sports books, athletic books. So I'm going to keep doing it. Give me 30 more years, God. I got a whole lot more to do.
Man, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Yep.
Listen, that's
Thank
so
you,
heavy.
partner.
Listen, y'all.
Thanks.
Man,
Good
man,
deal.
this brother is phenomenal. Listen, we appreciate you, brother, for tapping in with Black 31 Magazine. We will be highlighting you in the next edition of Black 31 Magazine. So listen,
Good
man,
deal.
continue to do what you do.
And
Um,
I'm gonna reach back out for you for that what's that the Vernon Park for the summer coming because we got to build that. See if you get your pop and all your uncles and cousins and stuff out there. It sends you from that
absolutely.
Germantown area because we want to do something big right there. The fly 1980s. Have a fashion show and the whole thing. I'm gonna bring back the old gear. The Fila, the T-Ray, the Gucci, what I mean, the Azad and all that Anye. All the stuff we used to wear, the Kango hats, all from back the 80s, and have a great old tour with it, kicking off in Germantown at Vernon Park. So we're going to pull that back together.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna bring pops out, man. I'm gonna bring pops out, and I'm gonna bring out second pops too, man. My father-in-law too, man. See, what I mean, that's the eras, man. The eras, man. They got the old school music, man. The old
That's
heads.
good deal. Good
Yeah,
deal.
absolutely.
Cool. Cool. So we'll be in touch, man. And then you got the magazine coming out. So thanks, man. Thanks for the love. And I'm going to keep doing it. And you got that Eagles book coming out. So I'm going to be busy, man. My name will keep popping out there because the Fly Girl thing, we're going to hit the library again, the main library downtown, 19th and Bond. We're going to do a big event there. All the schools are going to know about it. So it's going to be a big summer coming. The Fly 1980s phenomenon of Fly Girl and Omar Tyree at Vernon Park and the library and all that in 2025. So we got stuff coming.
Absolutely, brother, and we are going to stay connected, man, because we got to make sure that we push the legendary book author. Y'all, give it up for the legendary book author, man.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks,
go.
Friday. Thanks,
Legend.
family.
Absolutely, man. The
Yeah.
legend, man. So each and every week, y'all, please tap into Black 31 Magazine. We could have your favorite book author, your favorite poet, your favorite artist. We could have your favorite mental health advocate, or we could have the little girl down the street with the lemonade stand, or it could be you. So listen, please tap in. We are the platform of truth, the home of the champions, and the place where we uplift man, woman, and child. Peace and love, y'all. One.
All right, partner.
At all costs. Knowledge and power. Remember this game spilled, given. Embrace it. T.Y.I, Poetic G. Peace and love, one. I love it.